Meantime, we're making our own cyclone or a tasty salad with Chef John Slattery. He's the general manager, head chef, Pabst Bar and Grill. Pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks, Seth. Always a pleasure to be here.
I can't wait to check out what Ashley's doing in a little bit. But first, we're making a couple fun salads today, right?
Oh yes, we're gonna do two things. Pulled pork, which everybody loves in the summertime. They can be cooked and forgot about. It's a set and forget meal.
Perfect.
They can be cooked in your oven at 200 degrees for 8 hours, 220 degrees for 8 hours, and you go put it in when you go to bed at midnight. It comes out in the morning, and then it's something that's versatile and used for the day. So we're gonna do pulled pork with a salad, and we're gonna do tuna with a salad. Some light meals, skipping a lot of the carbs, except for maybe a little bit of the natural sugars from the fruits and maybe some of the sauces.
Well, it's great, though, because you got your fruits and your vegetables and your meat and your protein. That's really all you need.
So what I have here is a boneless pork butt.
Okay.
And that is...
which is, I think, one of the most intimidating pieces of meat on the market that people eat often. You know what I mean? Right.
With the bone in it is even a little more scary, but even that is a simple process. The bone falls out when it's done. So you can use a bone-in one or a boneless one.
Now, is this something that if I'm walking down in the meat aisle, I see it in a pack, or do I ask my butcher for it?
Go to the butcher. He can give you a larger one. They usually probably have this cut in half in the regular grocery store. For a pork butt would be about a half of this size. But this is a complete one.
And buying something like this is great value, too.
Yes. It's an economical meal that can be used throughout the week. It does have some shrinkage because there's fat and moisture. It's a very moist piece of the pork. So part of preventing the shrinkage is to score the fat itself with a knife, so that when the meat does begin to cook, the fat doesn't pull up into one ball. That's what scoring does. It allows the fat to break into little pieces, and then the meat doesn't get shrunken into a little ball. It just cooks nice and slow. By cooking it at the slow temperature, it retains as much of the moisture as possible.
I get
so we're simply going to take this pork butt and a nice blend of Cajun seasonings or a meat rub, whatever your favorites are. This is the one that we've been using at Pabst. We just made a batch of these tonight.
And you just go to town.
You get and get it in there, rub it into the meat a little bit, make sure you into the flaps, into the creases.
Whether you want to get out some aggression or if you're just feeling like giving a massage, you're in
Some people feel that massaging the flavor into the meat will make it taste better. Some people fork it and stab it and slice it, but we just want to get a good coating on it.
Does that work? Because for years I thought I was marinating properly by sticking, stabbing a piece of meat for a while. Does that work?
Well, that will inject the flavor into a roast, so that is great for that. But you don't want to take a steak and fork it, because then all the juice will leak out of a steak.
Oh.
But in a big piece of meat, stabbing it with a fork will drive these flavors into it.
Okay.
So however you get the seasoning onto the piece of pork is next. Then we put it into a pan with a roasting rack. And I like to have the rack a little bit deeper above the bottom of the pan if I have a shallow rack. So I took a couple of thick onion slices. I put those in the pan first.
To make a base.
And then I put the roasting rack on top of that.
That's pretty smart.
You could have maybe a earthenware crock that has a rack that fits in it and a lid that'll seal, or whatever pan you have big enough.
Man, those onions with all the pork fat, those are going to be the best tasting onions ever.
You do get a nice, delicious product at the end. So then we're into this pan. We're just going to simply put a piece of this wax paper so that the seasonings don't touch the tin foil. And then seal the pan.
And then this is when you pop it in the oven. At what temperature and for 8 hours or so?
225 degrees for approximately, depending on the size of the piece of meat, a whole pork butt would go about 7.5 hours.
And I'm sure if people have a slow cooker too, this is one of those items.
Slow cooker, Westinghouse roaster, a lot of different things you can do. So Seth, now we're gonna do TV magic.
Okay.
We're gonna bring that one over, and we're gonna grab.
I have to get one out. Okay, you grab the other one out.
8 magic hours later, we started this one at midnight last night.
Forwarding.
We have one here. And as we remove, you can see the meat is scored and the meat is ready. So when we come back, I'm gonna have that shredded. But see, it's nice and tender. The knife splits it.
Oh man! And how do you know it's done? Do you temp it or?
Well, in that 8 hours, it's going to fall apart like this. The temperature is over. It's about 185 to 190 degrees is a perfect temperature.
That's true. And
it allows the fats to dissolve.
If it's not done in 8 hours, you're doing something wrong.
Yes, then your oven probably wasn't at 220 degrees.
Now, how about we marinate the fish and then we call it a day. We come back later and we plate up two amazing salads.
So simply the fish is a ginger marinade. So I have here some sushi grade tuna and a ginger root.
Okay.
And we're going to put a little bit of that.
And a little goes a long way when it comes to ginger.
Ginger's very strong, so we'll get some in there good. And then we're going to take the zest of an orange.
Oh, nice.
This is a really nice box here. It's a nice zester attachment.
That does look
The zest of a lemon.
This is really... Now, is this going to do any ceviche, or is it not because it's
I'm going to put a touch of vinegar in, but not enough. I don't really want it to cook.
Because if you were to squeeze in the lemon or the lime or the orange, it would start cooking itself. Is
Absolutely,
that right?
yes.
Okay.
And then just a tiny touch of rice vinegar, a tiny touch of oil. some fresh herbs, and sesame seeds. So when we come back, we're going to lightly grill that and assemble some salads with a little bit of dressing.
Sounds good. It smells great. Wow. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you
check
for having
with you
us.
in a little bit. But we are back with Chef John Slatter, General Manager, Head Chef, Pabst Bar and Grill. Doesn't that look like a blast?
That looks like fun.
Yeah, I could do that.
I'm not a roller coaster guy, but
All right, but you know, you could get into it.
I can see how people would enjoy that.
You got to make exceptions. Let's talk about these salads.
I enjoy cooking.
We finished the pork. We cooked up a couple of the tuna slices. Right. How would you go about cooking tuna?
So I had a hot pan, and I just put a little bit of olive oil in the pan, and I just gently seared the tuna on all sides because this was nice sushi grade tuna.
So you seared on 4 sides.
All sides, the edges, the top, the bottom. So there was all sides, and then we just let it rest. So we got a nice.
How long should you let it rest so that all the juices congeal in there?
Well, it's just we want to make we get that nice rare cooking. We could chill it now because we're gonna have it with a salad. We could prep up our tuna pieces for the week and use them every day. Take one with us with our salad to work, and then now it's seared very nicely. So we've got that.
So if people wanted to pick that as their protein, what are the best kinds of salad to make with it? What have you done here?
Well, so I have I'm making a Caesar salad, and I'm making a quick Caesar dressing, a creamy Caesar dressing with Parmesan cheese and lemon juice and lime juice.
You made all this while Ashley was talking, so it only took a minute to make a Caesar dressing.
I didn't bring out the mixer, but I'm whipping it by hand. A little bit of fresh garlic, and stirred it together. And I'm just dressing this romaine lettuce, the nice green leaves of the romaine lettuce. I'm dressing with the Caesar dressing.
And then from here, that's it. That makes for a great
and then
salad.
the other part, the neat thing about romaine is it's got that white stem, and it's really hard. Not everybody likes it. So to go with the Asian theme of this. The fish with the ginger and the citrus, I took the white parts at the end of the romaine and sliced it very thin and tossed it with rice wine vinegar and sesame seeds and parsley and peppers to make a little bit of a citrusy slaw of the crunchy parts.
Look at that, it's 2 salads in one.
From the same lettuce, no less.
That's impressive.
And we can serve that with a nice piece of tuna. Well, we can show how nicely it's cooked.
Oh, look at that.
We can just put that in a little Tupperware to work with us. And we did something similar with the pulled pork. I took a bed of mixed greens.
This one.
Took a bed of mixed greens, added some fire roasted red peppers and some pepperoncinis, and we added the pulled pork, a little bit of barbecue sauce, and you've got a nice meal. It can go in the fridge and eat it later. The pulled pork is an economical family event that you can stretch over the course of the week.
And as I'm just learning, you can hold this plate at a slight angle, and everything sticks on it perfect.
Let me just sprinkle more cheese.
Look at that. Oh, that's good looking. Well, that's it.
It was really nice to meet the chef Rainey from Dean.
Yeah, Rainey's great.
Angeler's Bakery I grew up going to when I was a child, and he shared with us that fantastic frosting recipe. If you haven't had a chance to try it, I think you should try one of those cookies.
I will, but they're too pretty to eat. There's a vat of frosting in the back that I'm just going to dip my finger in.
We were very thankful for him to share that with us today.
No, it's great. And by the way, that recipe is going to be on mymassappeal.com. By the way,